Well, hello, hello, and hello. So, we are on part 6 of altering a journal, a book into a journal. So, this is what we got done. I wanted to do a winter book. I come on early sometimes just because I don't know how much time I'll have because I really want to finish the pages in this tonight. So, we shall see. So, this is a variety look. This is like a premeditated journal where you can put the stuff all in it before you use it. Some people journal along, some people, you do your thing. But this is how I do mine. So we get all these scrumptious pages in it up to a certain point. And I actually like journals that you have something to look at when you're daydreaming off on what you want to write. That's just my preference. So we flip through here and we ended right here. So we have a way to wait. So we can go with the picture page next. So let's see what scrumptiousness I have tonight. And I'll wait till some people get in here. I don't know who's going to show and who's not. People, we need to really discuss copyrights. People are getting confused. And don't you love it when people say, I know, and they have no clue what they're talking about. And they don't want to learn anything new. Let's see if I can. Could have went live on Facebook too, I guess. But get this one public. Okay. So when you go and you look up when books are out of copyright, there's two factors you have to take into consideration between reading and crafting. I know that there are some people that come on here and they like do live book readings. Well, that's, something that you have to figure out what's copyrighted or not. But when you're crafting, sometimes there's pictures in books. You ever see people selling magazine like advertisements and stuff? That's a separate entity from the actual written book. So you have to be careful. As crafters, we like using maybe poems and pictures and things like that. So just because a book is out of copyright doesn't mean everything's out of copyright in that book. And also because there's paintings in some books too. I have some books from the 1800s and I also have books from the early 1900s. But the rule of copyrights is the first term of a particular work depends on several factors. As a general rule for works created after January 1st, 1978, copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus an additional 70 years. But if they have a family member left and they leave the copyrights to that person, it takes that extension further. So what I'm saying, you really got to study the copyright laws to understand what you can use and what you can't. So they did pass a law, renewed copyrights. Let's see here. Can copyrights be renewed on a book? Okay. No works created on or after January 1st, 1878 are not subject to renewal registration, but there's more to it than that. It says copyright renewal is a copyright formality through which an initial term of the copyright protection for a work can be extended for a second term. So once the term of the copyright protection has ended, this is the first term, the copyrighted work enters the public domain and can be freely reproduced and incorporated into new works. But if a person gets renewed on a copyright, it says something like it doesn't get the same privileges. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. It means if the renewal, okay, it says a renewal registration is optional. Okay, so in other words, if you get a book, what the law stated, and see if I can word this right. It says, do I have to renew my copyright? No works created after January 1st, 1978 are not subject to renewal registration. As to works published or registered prior to January 1st, 1978, a renewal registration is optional after 28 years has gone by, but it does not provide certain legal advantages. So in other words, you would have to find out what those legal advantages are before you use that work. Because I think it was Beatrice Potter, unless the author states when they pass away that they lift. And I don't know if that's what happened to the Beatrice Potter books or not, because all of those you can use. But there's certain legalities to every single thing that's done. And it is a pain and it's a headache to know what you can use and what you can't use. But I just know that books from the 1800s, like, because if you look in some encyclopedias, even, they have like, oh my God, tons of copyright updates. Like if a person wrote the first edition, that's why they have first edition versus like 10 editions of the same book. They didn't change anything in the book whatsoever. They just kept renewing the copyright. Because I have some books that's got like copyrights. If you look by the copyright dates, there could be like 7 listed in one book or more. So unless nobody has updated that copyright, then you're good. But if they have, and that's where you got to do your research. It is a headache. I've been dealing with it since 2008. They do have laws posted in some of the Facebook sites. I don't know where, I can't remember, but I did read where it's literally under law. I don't believe what people tell me. I believe what I read about them. So, just so people know, before you go use a poem and things like that, you got to be careful. And then there's some people I've seen on here make postcards out of copyrighted stuff and different ephemera. They shouldn't be creating and putting their names on them because they do not have the legal right to do so, because people do it all the time. But it doesn't make it right. Because if it would be my work of art and somebody would do that, I would be furious. Especially if you put a lot of time, sweat, and tears into something. You don't want people stealing your work. But that's what happened in the MSN groups back in the day. They ruined it for everybody else because we were allowed to use certain pieces by asking the person that used the images. And what it ended up happening was people were putting copyrights instead of watermarks beside it, and they got in trouble for that because you can't take somebody else's work. You cannot just steal it. It's like plagiarism. So tonight, I'm adding some more winter sceneries and some more written pages. But all I can tell people, my advice is do your homework. Do your own research before you go using somebody else's work. And make sure that what you're doing is legal. Because it is not fun if YouTube takes your channel down or you get sued. Because it can be very costly. But back when they were doing it in our day, I think it was 10%. If you changed over 10% of somebody's artwork, or people were claiming it as their own, and now you can't do that with Guild. That's why the artists came out with a Guild. So when you go reading Guild, which you can look that up, learn, because that is a very informational site to learn from. And that's where the artists go to protect their stuff. Just do your homework, people. And it's not to cause a rift. It's just I would rather have the facts than be argumentative with someone over copyright laws and such. Oh. Usually this is not my time. There's lots of sales going on here lately too. My phone doesn't want to sit still. I don't know how to act. I got my cart beside me finally, and I actually have a little bit of organization over here, and it's amazing. It's super duper awesome. Okay. So I still have a few coffee dyed pages that I found upstairs to use up. So I am using up my stash. And then I got some Amy paper, because we love our Amy dyed paper. And I'm going to be putting a few pieces of that in this book too. So all I'm doing is cutting out my little template. It's over here. I like this piece of coffee paper. It's got that little dark piece. It gives it a design. But we always learn something new when we're online. And I had a feeling those bots that were coming in had to do with porn. And they are. I feel like I'm reliving Yahoo all over again. Seeing these bots that come into these live streams. Okay. So we go from blue to brown to blue. And then here, I like this. I think this is so pretty. It's got the little swishes and it's got that little fog at the top. So we shall go here. And then about right here. Denise! I just did a video a little bit ago on the stuff I bought from your sale. I haven't posted it yet though. How are things going your way? And hey, Randy. How are you? It's okay. It happens. Get you in here. Life gets busy, period, dude. Let me tell you. I was down here because I finally got a stand I've been waiting on to come in, and oh, I'm so happy because I would be sitting here crafting and like everything to the right hand side of me kept flying off my table because it's right here on the edge, and I'm like, what the heck? So I bought a stand from Home Depot and I absolutely love it. It's on a cart and it's got 2 baskets and a place where I can set my stuff, and it's amazing. It's like so awesome. Oh, I could only imagine. I can't even. I can't even stomach it, Denise. I mean, it's awful. I don't know if it has something to do. I mean, it's not that you can't feel deep when you're younger, but I think you can hold it in a little deeper. But it's like after you go through the change, it's like I cry over everything stupid stuff too, not just deep things. And it's like, but this, I watched like 5 minutes and I can't take it. You know what I mean? Like I just I just want to cry through the whole thing. There's a guy's channel on here. I like watching the Telegraph, but oh my goodness, the Critical Cripple. Let me see if I can get his channel up. Oh, you're welcome anytime. I believe I'm thinking he's in the UK. I know there's a lot of people that follow him that's in the United Kingdom, but I think this is where he's at. But all I can say is he's always got constant footage. His channel's amazing, but it's just sickening at the same time, if you know what I mean. You know, we're like so desensitized, I think, because we see so many bombing type movies and different things, but when it's reality, Denise, it's so not, you know what I mean? Like there is such a big difference. I don't think you can ever get desensitized to a real war, if you know what I'm saying. But it's like, it's awful. I'll watch part of his stream and I sit and sob in the corner. I just can't take it. Then I have to take a break from it because I try not to stress myself out because you know it's hard on the heart. It really is, and it's just excruciating. But this is his channel if anybody's interested in seeing some good stuff, but it's just it's awful. Especially when you're sitting there and, I saw the whole scene of that family. I mean, I was just sobbing so hard. My husband was looking at me like I was crazy when he come home because he didn't know what I was watching. And I'm like, "Michael, it was horrible." I said, this one family was trying to wait till the last minute, and they told them they could leave, and they weren't shooting civilians. As soon as they come out, they killed the whole damn family. It's like, I can't take it. I can't take it. It's like, it's awful. I was just sobbing my freaking eyeballs out. And then they wonder why we have people come home from the war suffering from post-traumatic distress disorder. Why are militaries homeless out there in the streets? They wonder why. I can't even take 5 minutes of it, let alone live it. And I have talked to a lot of people that hurt from the military. Believe me, you would not believe how many military people I ran into in Yahoo chat days, and the stories they shared with me was just it was just so heartfelt. It's like, because I think this one guy that I had met, and he just needed a friend. Like, he's been to the VA, but it's just like it's not getting anywhere. He said unless you've been there, a person really doesn't understand. And when he shared his war stories with me, I broke. Like, I just sobbed because I can't even imagine what they come back to. That's why a lot of them, I think, re-enlist because they feel like they can't come back here. It's like never the same, especially when our heritage teaches us things that we should not do. And when you go into war, you have no choice but to do. It's just horrifying. And I would say the number one, I mean, there's different reasons. Like, I had a relative that actually served in Vietnam. He would never talk about it. And I don't blame him because I feel that they need somebody who's been there to talk. And he said, the one guy was telling me, it's like these people looking down at you at a clipboard. They have no clue what the experience is like. How are they supposed to even begin to try to help you in therapy? But I talked to this one guy for a really long time. Like, we met through chat and ended up on the phone. Like, I'm talking hours. My husband would come home. He'd be like, "Who are you talking to, that guy?" Because he knew, that it was just a kid. He was a young guy that just needed a friend, and it was horrible. But I listened to all of his stories. He told me, he said, "You should be a counselor." And I said, "No, I can't deal with military because I never served. I have family that served, but I can't. I can't even begin to go where you're at to be able to help people." I said, "I could be here to listen, but that's about it." I had a great uncle on my dad's side of the family that fought in the Battle of the Bulge when it was Germany against the United States, and he fought for the United States side even though we have German in us. And he won a Purple Heart, and it was, I mean, it's just, but just the stories. I don't know how a person's ever the same. I really don't. But I do know that I think, and I'm not saying this for everybody, I know that there are some people from my experience who have went into the military because they were trying to get, a better education. They were trying to see where their lives were going to go. And then I see these cocky men, and I'm not meaning this to be ignorant to anybody, but they think what they think it is until they get into it, and it's not what they thought it was. And it kind of backfires because honestly, they're not, those types are, to me, are not mentally ready. I don't think you can ever be mentally ready for war, in my opinion. But I think that some of them, I knew a guy once, he just wanted to get away from his mother's bossiness. And I'm thinking, and how did that work out for you? You know what I'm saying? You think your mom's bad till you go through this experience, and then you're crying writing her letters at home because of what you're going through. That is a wrong reason to head to a military. It's just, it's unreal. But that's why I think so much of our military too, that when I donated, when I did the letters from World War II and read them to people, because I think they deserve a lot of respect. But you wouldn't believe some of the stories I've heard why people joined. Oh my goodness. Crazy reasons. I had a girlfriend back home and she was driving me crazy. I didn't want to tell her no, so I joined the military to get away from her. I'm thinking, you guys are crazy. That's not why you join. You better have a good reason. But oh my gosh, it is funny listening to some of their reasonings. It really is. I don't care how witchy my mother would ever be. I would not join the military to get away from her. That's all I have to say. I would deal with it. But yeah, some people are crazy. They're just naturally crazy. But yes, sharing stories and things that people go through is, it took a lot for some people to open up. And I think the net, they don't have to face you. And I have met a lot of people with social anxieties, and it's not even military related, just people who have issues that they have a hard time, talking to people publicly and things, and the military helps them. The web actually helps them to open up to people, which I can see that, I could write a book, to say the least. I really could. On things people shared. I like this, but I don't know if I want to add this to one of my pages or not, because it's more words over words, but I really like that. Look how pretty that is. I guess I could do maybe part of it, but do I want to? I don't know if I want to add this to this. I do, but I don't. Or if I want to save it for another journal. I'm over here debating. There's another wintry picture. Oh, I wanted to do this too, but that'll be later in the book. Let's see here. I could do another mountain picture, and then I could do this, because this will be cute. Or I could do this first and do another mountain picture. I mean, heck, it's my journal. It's not like I'm going to sell it. So let's see. We'll do this then. But I can't imagine what you're going through, Denise. I can't. It has to be rough. And then the Ukrainian people, oh my gosh. I just pray for them every single night. I send up prayers. For everybody. I don't know how these people, I just don't believe in wars, period. And I don't know how these people could not see when they start this stuff that they can't talk this stuff out, work it out another way first. I just can't believe that they can't think that, this person could be my kid, my grandkid. I don't care. Let's just shoot them. I can't understand that thought process. I can't. I think that anything can be worked out. You just got to try. It's too short, but you know what? We can do something else with this. So we're going to put Santa in here. And so we can start that up here. I want him a little more towards the center. But I don't know. I just kind of craft to keep my sanity. All I can say is people get a hobby. Try to take your mind off of stuff. I have to keep busy. My husband was in a gasoline fire. I don't know if I ever shared this story. I can't remember if I shared this on YouTube or not. But I was with my parents looking at a desk. We had this local paper here that would advertise stuff, kind of like the Facebook market page, but in a newspaper type thing, and it was free. And we were looking at a desk. I took off with my parents for my daughter, and my husband was back home watching the kids. Well, heck, I need a damn babysitter for him. So we had a brush pile outside, and it was real hot. And there was a gas can. We don't actually know what happened, if there was glass in the brush pile, but I remember it was a humid, hot, like way over like a 90-degree day. It was probably like 95 out. It was really hot. And my husband went to burn the brush pile, and he put the gasoline down. He was making a path to himself. Never even had a chance to light the lighter, and they said an explosion went off. They could hear it clear a road above where we lived. And I come home. I'll never forget my neighbor running to me talking about a fire. And I'm looking around like, what fire? I don't see no smoke. And she's like, your husband was taken away by ambulance. It's like, you got to be kidding me. I leave him home to babysit the kids, and he ends up in an ambulance. That's my hubby. Wasn't funny at the time, but we can joke about it now. So here, like I said, he used to be a firefighter. My husband, he was he did one of the free firefighter places where it's not a paid fireman, but where you can join volunteer. So he knew to turn his face away. He knew not to breathe it in, because they would have life flighted him if he would have. They said he was very lucky because he only had a pink tint on his throat. But he said he didn't even realize how bad it was. He was in shock. He says, I didn't even feel it. He said, I just remember the explosion, and I was on fire, and I was trying to put it out. And he walked into the house and saw his face. He had first degree up and down his arms and his face. He lost his eyebrows. Everything was singed off. He had 100% cotton tank top t-shirt on, and he had an Aunt Jemima thing on his head that was 100% cotton. That's actually what saved him, because it didn't catch on fire, but it was outlined on his body. Well, he says, I come in the house, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I saw my skin hanging. I about died. He says, because I didn't realize how bad it was. So the fire chief lived a couple houses down from us, but he wasn't home. His wife was home, and me and her were friends. And she was like, "Oh my God, he must have thought I was crazy." I kept asking him his phone number over and over again. His parents were she was trying to keep him from shock, and she called the um ambulance and stuff. And she said, and the horrible part was his skin was still smoldering, and the ex fire chief came up the road and threw water on him to put it out. I just remember, I don't care what shows you watch, what 911 shows, whatever you watch on TV, nothing prepares you for the real thing. I remember going in and I seen my husband being peeled like a freaking banana. I thank God my cousin Bobby was the one working on him, and his wife was a nurse, so I had family there. I remember before I got there, I told my mom, what keeps me from going into shock is literally talk to me. I don't care what our subject is about. My mom was freaking out. I'm walking around the house before I left the house to pick up clothes, and I'm like, "Timmy, what are you thinking? If he's burned, he's not gonna be wearing any clothes." You know what I mean? Like, I was starting to go into shock, and I'm like, "You gotta stop this." So, my mom came and she was freaking out. I said, "Mom, I had to drive," and I said, "Just keep me talking. I don't care if it's about the weather, I don't care what it is." And she did. She kept me talking all the way to the hospital. And I remember going into the ER and my name was being screamed. I could hear him clear out in the lobby. That's how bad he was screaming for me. And I kept it together. I went in, I literally stood by his head. I had my hands by his head, and he was, of course, laying this way. My cousin Bobby was peeling the skin, and I'm watching the whole thing with these great big bicep looking things. I see yellow shit running everywhere. And I told Bobby, "What's that? What's this?" Like, I'm asking him all these questions just to keep talking to stay strong for him. And he said, "It's the fluid that actually heals you when you get a boo boo." He says, "That's the liquid that comes up." He says, "We have to get his skin off because of, to keep infection out." He explained everything to me, and I held it together. My husband's just shivering the whole time. He's shaking in my hands because he's so cold from the feeling of this fire. And he's just soon as I walked out of the room to go fill out papers, that's when I like dropped, I almost hit the floor. Lisa caught me and she's like, I said, "Oh my God, this is excruciating. I don't care how many movies you watch, nothing prepared." And then I broke because I didn't want to cry in front of him and lose it because he needed me to be strong. So I do know I learned about myself in a crisis situation. I can handle it. That's when I realized I could handle whatever I needed to do to be there for another person. But it was horrible. It was like, and they gave him saltwater whirlpool baths. I kid you not. Could you imagine? I can't. I've had salt in like a burn when I've been cooking, but oh my God, to have first degree and have to go through that. He goes, "I know I cussed those nurses. I know I was mother effing 'em." I said, "Michael, you didn't say a word. They had you on morphine," which is kind of like what a woman goes through when he described it to me. When a woman's delivered and they put you on Demerol, it takes the edge off, but you can still feel everything. And I think that's why he thought he was cussing people. I said, "You might have been in your brain, but you weren't saying a word because the nurses couldn't believe what you were taking and you weren't saying anything." But oh my goodness, he was in for a really long time. He was in ICU for a really long time. And like I said, they didn't have to life flight him for that reason. But you know, people just how the web can be. Where people will start gossip. "Hey Haley, hey Frozen." This just goes to show how ignorant some people can be when you have people who just don't like you. I remember it came out later that I refused to let my husband be life flighted because I didn't want to travel to the city where the hospital was located. Another rumor was, I mean, come on, like, do you honestly think doctors are going to give a shit about that? I don't think so. Another thing that went around as a rumor was I was in the house playing some kind of card game with friends from college. My husband was in the fire, and I just left him go by himself. I wasn't even home. I mean, but you know what I mean? This is just how crap gets started. That's why I don't pay attention to rumors and crap like that that I hear unless I'm there for to see it myself or hear it myself. I don't believe shit because people always try to stir stuff. I told my husband that and he about died after he recovered. I said, "Can you believe how ignorant people were?" I never did find out who spread those rumors, but they were just horrible people to do that. And the surgeon told me himself the reason why he wasn't life flighted is because he didn't inhale, or he would have. He would have been life flighted. You don't have that choice in an emergency situation. A wife does not have that choice unless she's the actual person that's hurt. But I mean, still, you don't have that choice. When somebody gets life flighted, they're going to do it because you need it done. There's no stopping and asking people. I mean, I don't even know how people could believe these rumors. They were so stupid. So, anyways, he recovered, thank God. He did not have to have plastic surgery. He was so lucky. I remember when I went to see him, he said he would love it. He said, "I have a feeling," he says, "for some reason when I was in and out of it, I thought people were taking pictures of me." I said, "Well, they could have been." He says, "I just wish there was a record where I could go back and see it." Because he can't remember a lot of it because he was morphined up. But he just it was just crazy. My mom said her and my sister would go down to visit and he'd be talking to the kids and me, and he was totally out of it. He didn't know what he was saying. But all I can say was his grandmother, his mom, his aunts, and us, all of us were there. We literally formed a circle over his bed and said a prayer, and that boy healed fast. For what he went through, he healed very fast. And I know there's people out there that don't believe in God. That's your choice. I don't have a problem with that, but I know my power of prayer because I've seen it in action. And it's just something that blew me away, to see him recover the way he did day by day. But his ear didn't even look like an ear. Like his one ear was like a great big ball of pus. That's all it was. It was just like it was so awful to see the transformation that he went through, but he came out of it greatly. I mean, like, you wouldn't believe it. The only thing is he lost a lot of layers of skin. Like, he has no deformity. His face, his ears, and everything are back to normal. Never had no plastic surgery. The doctor says he was very fortunate. But when he came home, he wanted to get a tattoo. This was like, I forget how many years later. After he recovered, I said, "Michael, you got to be careful because if you go to getting a tattoo on that skin, you got to remember, even though your skin's back to normal, it's not normal. You've lost some layers." Of course, he didn't listen. So they did a stencil and they laid it out on his back because they like to do a stencil first. They use like male deodorant and they rub it down. They do a stencil because they want you to know they want to know the exact position. With it was an eagle. He's got an eagle on his back, and the tip of the wing on the one side went up into where he was burned. And I told him, "Tell them to move it down a little bit." Well, of course, he didn't listen because he's a male and he's hard headed. And guess what? They went to hit the tip of that wing, buddy. He was on the floor. He passed out. I had to literally go and they used salts to bring him back, and I had to get him some chocolate because they were thinking it could be food. I said, "No, he was actually lost skin from a gasoline burn a long time ago, but he has to realize it's not there. That layer's gone." He goes, "I never felt so embarrassed in my life. I passed out in a tattoo, but shh, don't tell him. He's not home, so he doesn't know I'm telling on him." But he had this T-shirt. It was really cool because it was an eagle coming down on like a snake type looking dragon. And he wanted that tattoo on his back. Well, he didn't make it to get the dragon. He did get the eagle done, but it's in the air with just his claws down, like it's landing on nothing because after he passed out, it scared him. So he didn't finish it. But it is what it is. It's his tattoo, you know? But all I know is that was an experience from hell that I prefer not to relive. And I told my husband from now on, when the kids were still little, if I go somewhere, I'm getting you a babysitter too, because I am not coming home to my husband being a gaslight fire ever again. But his dad was like that. Like they have like this accident proneness to him. I guess his dad, when he was a kid, his grandmother said he was running through the yard with a hatchet about cut his ear off. She said he literally chopped his ear where it was hanging by a piece of skin, and they had to take him to the emergency room. And my husband's been through something every so many years. That's why he scares me. One year, he was going to work, and we had this hole by the steps. Of course, he never repaired it. His foot got stuck in it. Explain this one. High top, steel-toed boots, and he broke his foot. Leave it to my hubby. So he cuts the back of his boot open, and he duct tapes it and continues to go to work. I'm like, are you nuts? He goes to work, and his boss is looking at his foot like, why is the back of your boot duct taped? And he says, because I think I sprained it and I had to come to work. He broke it. Oh my God. He couldn't get his boot off by the time he came home. So then I had to tell him, and he hates doctors. So I had to tell him, you have to get this x-rayed. Sure enough, it was broken. The doctor just shook his head. It's like, how could you do this in high top steel-toed boots? I said, my husband can find a way, he will. All right, Denise, thanks for coming. I'm sharing family stories. But all I can say is my life is never dull. And I hadn't been to the doctors in 15 years. I had not been to the doctors, like it was 13 or 15 years, because I never had time. And I went in sick one time, and I was having issues, and he turns around and says to me, you haven't been here. And it was 13 years. He says, you haven't been here for 13 years ago. This is my husband and my kids put me through the ringer. I don't have time. And then when I did get in, I had to have 2 surgeries in a couple years back to back. Isn't that awful? Like when I get sick, I really get sick. I had to have my gallbladder removed, and I had to have a complete hysterectomy because I had cysts on my ovaries. It was just bad. Ugh, always something. Well, hey, Paul, it's about time you get in here. You missed it. You missed me reading. I'll have to repeat myself real quick. So the thing that I'm a lazy typer. I hate typing stuff out when I'm trying to explain things. So what I was trying to say is when we use book pages or we use pictures or poems out of any books, whether we copy them or we cut them out of books, people have to realize that when you have a book, the copyright not only affects the book, there's a separate copyright for the pictures that's in them and poems. So say you have like an old science book. This is a really good one because this happened to me before. The science book was out of copyright, but the pictures weren't. So you had to be really careful in the crafting scene. Well, what it is you are considered vintage if you're 50 years and older. And I don't care what they say on Google, the original. Google says vintage can be sooner than that, according to some people, but it isn't. It's 50 or older, and 100 years and older is considered antique. This is how we base it. So if a person, from the 1800s, of course, they're still not here. But if they take the copyrights, I don't care if it's photography, it all falls under the same category, books or anything, and they pass it to a family member, they can keep it in copyright. But when it comes, and I know this because they've been posting law links within a lot of the crafting to where you can go and read the real laws because they were posting them in Facebook pages too, because they were concerned about reusing poems and things like that. So when it comes to books, when you're talking about renewed copyrights, okay, but you have to listen to the details. It says, do I have to renew a copyright? No. Works created on or after January 1978 are not subject to renewal registration. But listen to the rest of this. As to works published or registered prior to January 1st, 1978, renewal registration is optional after 28 years. But that does not mean that they provide the certain legal advantages as the original, but you have to know what those advantages are. And the other one is the term of a copyright for a particular work depends on several factors, including whether it has been published in, or if so, the first date of publication. As a general rule, for works created after January 1st, 1978, copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus an additional 70 years. So you have to add 70 years on to after the author dies. Then if that author gives his, say you have a niece or a daughter or whatever, and you pass that to a relative, they can extend it. So yes, it is possible. So that's why everybody's always really leery in the crafting community when they're using books to do anything because of that reason. So that's what I'm saying. There is so much, and clear back in 2008, when we were using images just to play games with, we weren't even making money off of them. Hey, Jen. Hey, gaming. The artist, we had to write them a letter. Like I used Popeye Wong, for instance. He drew girls, cartoon girls, and we would put art in behind them. I was on his showcase for 5 years. I know a lot about copyrights. So what happened was we would ask them permission, can we use your art? Well, then they would write us a note back in MSN email and say, okay, you can use my girl and you can crop her out of the picture and you can put her, but say they would have rules. Like some would say, you don't have to put my copyright if you don't want to when you're done. There were some that said, you put my copyright on it, but you can use your watermark. So in other words, on Popeye Wong's art, because we would play check-in games, just fun stuff that was artsy. I did pictures with his pictures, but I would put his copyright and his name beside it, and then I would put my watermark under his, because technically it is his art. Before Guild came in, if you changed over 10% of another artist's work, you could claim it. Like you were talking about changing the characters in the book. You can't do that. It's illegal. When the guild stepped in, it changed all that. And if you don't understand what the guild is, you can look it up. So what happened was the artists were saying, because we had bad people in our art community who were putting their copyright by their names instead of the watermark. They were trying to take their pictures. So the artist came out and said, you're no longer allowed to use our pictures now because of this reason, unless, like Garb, for instance, you have to pay $20 for so many of my images. I will send you a license, and that number has to be on the bottom of the pictures. And if you didn't have that license number, your site was automatically shut down on MSN because people were trying to steal their images. So that's why the guild come in to protect. And the guild also protects authors. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, an author, what you are, you can get protection because it's your work. And how would you feel if somebody came and stole your stuff? I wouldn't be happy neither. So there's more to it than just listening to what people say. You have to really do your research on everything. I have to, because I can't take that chance, especially when I'm making, I'm upcycling books and turn them into journals. I have to make sure everything I use is sellable, resellable, because I could get in a lot of trouble and I don't have money to be sued. But the guild rules, let me see if I can get, I'd have to search out the link to the guild. But as far as let me see here. I'm trying to get a link. This here explains what it is. And then once a person gets to in here, yeah, but you were saying 20 years. 20 years is irrelevant, is what I was saying. That it's not 20 years. It has to be older. Now, the Potter, what's her name? Harriet Potter, the one that did the bunny rabbit works. She passed away and left her work free. Now, if an author would come up and say, upon my death, my stuff is free use. Now her stuff is free because she left it that way. But there's a lot of research. It's like each one is different. Right. It's like, but like when I do it, I have to search each book. Like I don't go by a 20-year rule. I search each one of them so that I know what I'm doing because they're all different for each one. And if you look at inside encyclopedia, even how many books have you ever opened and looked at the copyright? And you will see like 10 dates. It's because on each of those 10 dates, that book was renewed. So that means once it's renewed, it's 20 years from that date. It's 20 years, it's so many years from each date, or 70 years when the author. See, how is it? If an author dies, it's so many years plus 70 on top of that. That's a long time. So that's why a lot of people in the crafting community, they won't even touch it unless it's from the 1800s. Most of them won't even touch it because of that reason, because everybody's long gone. And the very early 1900s, like I'm talking 1901, but they won't, it gets touchy going into the 1900s even. Yeah, but whoever told you didn't know what they were talking about. I do my research. The only thing that I'm saying is if you ever have a question about stuff like that, do your own research and look up your own laws. Pretty good, real. We've been doing good. He's working a lot, which is probably why we get along so well. Me too, Jens. I have a lot of fun. And how are you doing, Jen? How have you been? Well, we had a lot of questions come up in the crafting community too, Paul, and there's lawyers in there. So, that's where I learned a lot of things that I did because they would literally post links to the law to go and check it out for ourselves, to like the real laws. It's nothing to do with the government. You just go in and you check out the laws that's been passed and it'll tell you. But it's very interesting, but it also can give you a headache at the same time. Because there's some works I come across and I'm like, oh my God, this gives me a freaking headache because you don't know. Yeah, Beatrix Potter. That's who I was trying to think of. Her stuff is open. And sometimes you can go to sites that will say, like Pixabay, for instance. There's some sites on here that'll tell you we are copyright free. Like, we're open. So if you have an open site that's got books, it's on them if they're in the wrong. They got to know the laws to be able to post a book for open reading. But there was another YouTuber on here, Fairy Frequency Sister, Tam Bear. She was doing live readings on here. And there's a site apparently you could go to, and I'll tell you another person that might know a lot about it. It's Scully. Scully's House of Thrillers. He reads books, but he doesn't read them all. There's only certain books that you will ever hear him reading on his YouTube channel because he knows they're copyright free, but he does his research before he does it. But Tam Bear, her sister was telling me that there's a site you can go to and it'll tell you what books are copyright free, but she was reading a lot of court documents and stuff. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just not taking the chance because all I'm saying is I've seen a lot of YouTubers lose their channels. I mean, YouTube picks their favorites too. Don't think they don't. There's some gamers on here that can get away with playing copyrighted music in their games and nothing ever happens to them. And then you have another person that plays one song and he loses his channel or he gets a warning or it's ridiculous. So it makes it kind of confusing to what a person can do and what they can't do. I'm just saying be careful. All I know is I have over 1,000 videos on this channel. And if I lose it, I would not be happy because I did not save my videos. They're all on YouTube and I just don't want to get a strike over something dumb. That's why I'm very, very conscious when it comes to copyrightable stuff because I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want my friends to lose their channels either, especially ones that edit and they take the time, to build. I mean, and I've seen it happen to a few channels. They were really dumb things because YouTube is just so strict. That's why I don't want monetized. Because I think the monetization is a big part of it. It's like their rules get so strict and they have their favorites and they don't care. Like if you're up in the millions, some people can get away with stuff that others can't. It's just ridiculous. I hate YouTube laws. I just don't want people to get in trouble. It has nothing to do with me being argumentative or confrontational. I just don't want to see it happen. That's why I brought it up today in the first place. Is I like it when we share information, not to be, bossy. Oh my gosh, Jen. You were hit by a car? When? Holy moly, girl. You need a bubble. That is awful. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're okay too, Jen. That's terrible. That's just terrible. But I mean, and Paul, and don't get me wrong, there are some people have tried to tell not to play copyright music when they started their channels because they were newbies, they didn't listen, and their channels were lost. It's just a chance you take. I just know when it's a friend of mine and somebody I feel I can talk to, I will share that information. And God forbid, if I ever did anything on my channel that's copyrighted, I would want to know. I want people to tell me. I put a lot of time. I might not edit, but I put a lot of time. I have 1,500 videos on my channel right now. I don't know the exact number because YouTube doesn't show me on my phone, but I know it's at least 1,500. That's a lot of freaking videos. And I didn't save them because I figured, hey, if I lose my channel, I'll just start over. But I don't want to do something to lose my channel. But I know a YouTuber, her story was terrible. Somebody sent her a link and an email, and it had the YouTube logo on it. And oh my God, I can't remember what she said. Her name is, I think, Amy. She's she does vlogs of like real life stuff. And I will never forget how hurt she was because it had the YouTube red logo and everything on the email. And she clicked on the link and they hacked her account. Like she couldn't get in. It was gone. They went through hell, literally contacting YouTube to try to get her channel back. It was bad. She was monetized and everything, and she was really climbing, and she was doing good. She was a lot of fun to listen to, and just something that stupid. You know what I mean? It wasn't her fault because she thought it was YouTube, but just something like that could take your channel. And it's like, she got to be really careful. And she didn't know. She said, if it wouldn't have the big red YouTube on it, I probably wouldn't have clicked it. It was something to do with some kind of survey. And she thought it was them. And she was in tears. It was awful because she was like, I put all this work into editing and I did all these vlogs. It was awful. I felt bad for her. And I do believe that she did ended up getting her channel back, but it took her a really long time. And it was bad. I just don't want my friends to lose their channel, whether they're monetized or not, you know? I don't want to be monetized because I don't want to be censored. And I love it when you go into certain streams on here and they'll sit there and say, oh yeah, if anybody tells you that they're not on YouTube to take money, they're a liar. I'm like, how can you speak for everybody on YouTube? I hate when people do that. Don't speak for me or anybody else. Speak for yourself. Nick the Booksmith, look how many people she's got. She don't get monetized on YouTube. She's got a huge number of followers. She's at and she tells you why. She's got 86,300 subscribers and she's never taken a dime from YouTube. She came on here, brought her business, and she used YouTube as a tool, just like I did, for people to find my bookstore, to know that it exists. She teaches classes. She makes journals like we do. 86,000. Never took a dime. And she was furious when YouTube decided to put, because now if you hit a certain amount, YouTube, because they commercials are on some of my videos, I'm not monetized. And she was furious. She's like, thanks, YouTube. She says, because I brought all my people here. She teaches classes and does her own thing. She makes her own money on her own. And she said, I can't believe that you're sticking commercials on my channel that I might not even want. They might not even be something I believe in. And I brought all my people here and all my business here to YouTube, and you could just stick whatever on my channel. Now, I think that's wrong. Even though YouTube is a platform, it should be up to the person because it is YouTube. It is your channel. If it wasn't for her channel, she wouldn't have that many people here. You should be able to at least choose the commercials that represent your channel, whether you're paid or not. That's my philosophy. I believe the same thing Nick does. So when people come out and say stuff like that, it just makes me angry. I don't like following channels that talk for everybody else, because not everybody's here to pimp YouTube for money. I mean, come on, it's only 3 cents a freaking ad. I don't want YouTube's money. I wouldn't rely on them anyways. They change their rules every year. They censor everything you say. God forbid if you even mention politics or something you believe in. Next thing you know, your channel's gone. I don't want the headache. One of my friends, she gave me the best compliment ever. She says, I would hate to see YouTube censor you. She says, because I liked you just the way you are. That's a true friend, dudes. She made me laugh when she said that. And I was like, thank you, because I agree. I don't want to be censored. We're like snowflakes, you know? We all have our own reasons to be here, our own preferences. And I'm not saying it's bad if you want to get paid on here. I mean, if that's what you want to do, more power to you. It's just not one of my things. I just get mad when I go into a stream and they say, well, somebody tells you they don't want to be here to grow in number or make money, then they're lying. No, I'm not a liar. And I'm telling you right now, I could give a shit less if YouTube ever paid my bills. And I even told that same person, don't speak for everybody because that's not true. I didn't even come to YouTube to have a channel to begin with, period. I came here for advertising. When I found out how much advertising costs to even promote my store, I about died. I mean, just to have it circulated in the local newspapers, like thousands of dollars. And I thought, hey, if I could put YouTube on my Facebook to let my neighbors know that I'm here and family and whoever else joins my Facebook, if I can get 50 people, even local, to know I exist, I'm happy. When my channel, I look at the number every day when I sign in it and I'm like, oh my word. Why the hell would 2,000 people want to listen to my ass? I mean, seriously, I about died. Like when I went past 50 and I got to 100, and then I went past the 100 and I was stuck on 300 for a long time. And then all of a sudden I had this spurt. Now I'm like 2,600 people. That scares me because I wasn't supposed to be a channel. And what's bad is you never see that many people in my stream. But I do try to support different people, you know, and I don't care if they're subscribed to me or not. I support everybody that I'm interested in. If I like you, I will show up to your channel. And even if I don't like you, sometimes I can't show up to channels because I can't get to everybody at once. I just don't want people to think that that I don't like them, but that I like them, I'll come to their channels, because I can't. I don't have enough hours in the day to visit all the channels I follow. And you got to realize too, the more you grow, the harder it is to visit all the channels that you want to visit. It gets hard. It gets rough, people. So then another bigger YouTuber started this rumor, and yes, he was a gamer, and I'm not mentioning any names. I was in his live stream and he said he was telling everybody in his stream, I think he was like at 8,000 subscribers at the time, so his stream was pretty busy. He says, oh, you only have to give 30 seconds and you can leave. Where did you hear that at? For watch time, to support someone. No, you don't. To support somebody on here, it's full watch time. There's none of this 30 seconds and then you leave. That just gives a view. That doesn't give watch time. And I told him, I confronted him about it in his stream, and he didn't like it. So he banned me. He didn't block me. He just asked me to leave his stream. And I'm like, why? Because watch time hours is 4,000. Do you realize how many minutes that is? That's a lot of freaking hours. And you're telling people just to go to newbies channels, only watch 30 seconds. What the hell is 30 seconds going to do for somebody that needs 4,000 hours watch time? I said, you're telling people lies. Why? Because that's all you want to visit. Now that you're 8,000, why would you care? You wouldn't believe how many people step on others to grow on here. It's sickening. I know a guy, he started out just like we did. He invited all these people to be, you know, his moderators. Invite your friends, share me out. They did all this and helped him build his channel. And what do you think they got in return for a thank you? When he got his join button, if you didn't join, he unmodded you unless you joined. The same people that helped him grow his channel, he fucked them over. Took all their mods away and only kept the people that paid for the join button. You know how ignorant that is? I don't like some YouTubers on here. I just don't. The things that I've seen that just make me sick. Over 3 cents a minute for a freaking ad, or for $5 a month for a join button. You know how rude that was? And he lost a lot of subscribers because of what he did. And he should have. Because some people might not be able to afford that $5 a month. Some people might not be locked in to that amount. Then I know another YouTuber. I love her because she's the total opposite. She is so down to earth. She didn't care if you joined her button when she made it. She was just like, I'm thankful that you're here. I'm thankful that you're still here. You're still supporting my channel. Whether you share it to your Facebook or if you just give me a video watch time, she doesn't care that if you join her little join button. She will not unmod you, and she respects the people that have been with her from the beginning. Now, that to me is a real YouTuber. That is a real caring person, not these cold ass people wanting paid. And then once they get paid, some of them, it just goes to their head and they just blow everybody away. I mean, you can see it. You can see it amongst people. And I've been with some from the beginnings of their channel and have left because they turn assholes. And I don't have a thing to say about it. To me, loyalty means a lot more than just getting a damn join button. You don't screw over the people that's been with you from the beginning or the new people that come along. You know, that's why I appreciate everybody, and I'm not even getting paid. But it's just, there's some heartless people on here, let me tell you. And I am not competitive, and I will never be the type of person like that. I will never treat my friends like that. The only people get treated shit by me is because they deserve it. But it's the truth. It's horrible how I've seen some people do people. It's crazy. I even seen one go so far. They did giveaways, okay? My channel's reached this goal, and I'm going to do a giveaway. I love doing giveaways, don't get me wrong, but some people ruin it. They ruin the concept of a giveaway. I like doing giveaways because I enjoy them. But this one channel, it's so bad, it's awful. They ran a bot, a Batissimo bot, okay? And it didn't matter how long you were with the channel, how much you helped them grow. It didn't matter. They had this bot that would keep track of how many hours you spent in their stream. But yet when they did the giveaway, it was to everybody. Oh, this is to everybody that comes to my stream because you've been supportive and blah, 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 blah. But they already knew who the damn winners were. That to me is not a giveaway. They recorded the hours that everybody spent, and they were the top people they were the only ones that were going to win. So how is that a giveaway? Tell me that. There's no drawing of the comments. There's no drawing with a piece of paper or how it was just people who spent time in their stream. To me, that's not a giveaway. If you're going to give away to people that you kept by hours, that should be a private giveaway. You know, like I know another YouTuber, she's into makeup, and I love how she does hers. She has hidden ones, and she will watch people who will come in, and that's her choice, it's her channel. But when you make it public and you say it, then that means anybody should be able to participate. If you were going to do a giveaway and say I was going to do a giveaway with just how many people, you know, how many hours, I would say that from the very beginning. I'd say, okay, I'm running a bot. How many hours you spend in my stream, you're going to enter a giveaway, but I'm not going to pick the top ones. Because to me, that's not a true giveaway to invite everybody to. You already know the winners. You should do a hidden giveaway separate for the people because you already know who they are. So what she'll do is, and she don't care if I announce her name because I love her channel, is Just Ann. She does giveaways where she'll say, when she sees that you're an active participator, she'll say, since, she'll get to the end of her video in some section of it and she'll say, leave me an emoji, and if you don't have the emoji, leave a word or leave a sentence with this in it. And and she may pick you randomly. You will never know when you'll be picked, and she might send you makeup. But I love how she does it because she's honest about it. So you never know when you're going to win, but then she'll do a big giveaway and she'll announce it to everybody. I'm doing this big giveaway. I'm giving 10 people this amount of stuff, but she does it fairly. And she'll do a comment picker. So it doesn't matter if you have the most hours in or whatever, she'll do a comment that's random. I don't know. I just think it's hysterical what some people try to pull off on here. I'm a skeptical person. I watch these people and the naughty things they do. And I feel that, if you really want to give a specific person a giveaway, then you shouldn't have to announce it publicly like everybody else involved. Give it to that person. If you have a particular person that supports you, give them a reward. And I like my Down to Earth one. That's Ty. I love her channel, and she does some fun stuff on her channel. I've been with her since, oh my goodness, she didn't have that many subscribers. She's really grown, and I mod for her, and she has games she plays on Sunday Fun Day. And what she'll do is she does this music game, and it's a lot of fun. If you've never participated in her stream, you go and she'll say something like, in Britney Spears or somebody's video, usually she picks bands from the 80s, but it's really funny. She'll say, what color dress does this person have on them? And you have to come back to her stream real quickly. You can use a computer to do what you want. She even allows you to cheat. And you put it in the first 3 people, your name gets picked. And she plays this game. And then at the end, whoever has the most points, if there's cash build up, or if, she does gift cards, and you get to pick which gift cards you want. Like she'll have Dollar Tree, Sally's, places you can eat. And of course, I always pick the Dollar Tree. I've won on her channel a couple times. And then she'll do a giveaway specially for the people who have hit her join button. She'll do a giveaway for them specially, and she'll do one for her moderators, like people who moderate and have joined her channel or whatever. But the way she does it's cool because everybody feels included. But I like watching how some people do their giveaways and the things that they play, the games and things. They can be fun. Some of these channels are very interactive. But here's Ty's channel. Oh, I know. I love her channel. She knows I love her, even if she's lurking. Sometimes she'll lurk on my channel, sometimes she does, but Ty knows I love her. I do. I really do. She's one of my favorite people on here. She's at 61,300 subscribers, and she's awesome. She started out with the fitness channel. She does stories, old school stories about the bad things, like when the Jacksons cheated on each other and stuff like that. I love it though, because she does it in a respectful, fact way where she sounds like a reporter. But you've got to check out her channel, and her lives are a blast. I've even been on her panel when she was talking about, what makes marriages last. We were having good conversations. She talks about so many topics that it's unbelievable. She'll talk about race issues. She even has this one game. Oh my gosh, this one game she plays. It's absolutely hysterical. She'll pick stories from Twitter, and you have to guess if the person that committed the crime is black, white, um, she's got different nationalities, and you have to pick who you think did it. And usually if, people are right, she gives you points, and stuff. She does monetary giveaways. She's just a blast. Her stream is very interactive, but it is funny, Jen. She gives a story and she'll tell you what the crime was. And some of them are ridiculous. And she'll say, I can't remember if she picked Latin, Latinas. I don't know. I forget what all races she picks, but it's absolutely hysterical to try to guess which race pulled it off. And this one, I said, "Oh my God, it had to be a white guy." And she said, "What made you say that?" And it was something in the story that was really stupid. Like he stole pizza after doing something, I don't know. And I remember a friend of mine when I was growing up, he was so bad. He was always in trouble, and I always felt sorry for him. He didn't have the best life. But I remember one time he came to my house. God rest his soul, because he passed away. But the funny thing here, he come up to me. He never lied to me. Even with his crimes, he always told me the truth. He said, "I broke into the swimming pool when I wanted to go swimming." He says, "And everything was fine until I got hungry." He said, "Then I broke into the concession stand to get a hot dog. Next thing you know, I'm arrested." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So when she read that particular story on that guy, it was like, oh my God, one of my friends did something almost exactly like that. So it had to be a white guy. And it was so funny. And she said, "Tammy got it right." And it was a white guy. But oh my God. That's what I mean. It's just like, so it is funny. She makes it hysterically funny. So if you guys ever get the chance, check out Ty's channel. You got to catch her live. She does some premieres that are fun too, but it's Sunday Fun Day, and she even had mugs that she found at Five Below that said Sunday Fun Day, and I won one of those too, and I have it sitting. I use it all the time, my Sunday Fun Day mug. But I've won a few things on her channel. So then I'm the resident hug ho, because you guys know how I hug you guys when you come in here. So she calls me the resident hug ho of her channel. So I got her a t-shirt because she saw this t-shirt I had on one of my lives one night, and it said the hug life. Instead of the thug life, it says the hug life. And it's got a cat on it, and it's got like that Aunt Jemima look. So she saw it. So I ended up buying her the same t-shirt. So we matched, and I mailed it to her. Then she mailed me back a t-shirt saying hug dealer. So I have the hug dealer t-shirt upstairs. But yeah, we send each other mail every once in a while. But she's just fun. It's like once you get to know her, and I love her because she's a strong woman. She's very opinionated. She's very deep in her opinions. And I think that's why I love her so much, because we have that in common. When I'm passionate about something, I will argue to the death. But if it's something that's whimsical, I don't pay attention. But I'm like her in that sense, and I think that's why me and her get along. But she's a riot. And Althea that comes in here, the Twitter holic, she's a mod off her channel too. We both get the mod for Ty's channel. I love modding for her channel. If you guys ever get the chance, you got to check her channel out. She's a lot of fun. And you get a panel going and it's a riot. Had a guy in there here not too long ago who just was wow. He was really ripping on people who settled for relationships, and it was just really fun. We got to question him and pick on him, and it was just a lot of fun. And sometimes she's had feuds in there too. We have to keep on our toes. But for the most part, I've only seen, I think I missed one time when a fight broke out on her stream. But for the most part, her stream is pretty calm. Her comment section can get funny too. When you have people coming in, why are you bringing up old school stuff? It's because she's good at reporting them. That's why I like her. So anyways, she come in here, she'll probably think, you're crazy, girl, talking about me so much. But I do. I really think the world of Ty. I really, really do. Okay, so we're going to do an Amy paper because I need to dye more coffee paper. So this is my Amy paper. Look at her cool decorations on hers. So I ordered this off of her. She has coffee dyed and tea dyed papers. She is one of my favorite paper dyers because she does immaculate, I mean, really dark colors. I dye pastel colors. I am getting a little darker with my coffee, but I haven't done tea yet. I need to get my Etsy shops filled. You people know I have 2 Etsy stores and they just sit there collecting dust. I think I have spiders running in them. I'm terrible about getting stuff in my shop, and I really need to. But see, then it takes me time away from talking to y'all, because what I need to do is I really need to take like a month away from YouTube. Like just take a break and do nothing but create. And that way I can stick my stuff in my Etsy store and start selling stuff. But I'm too busy gabbing to you guys, and I want to make journals. So it's hard. I do try to take some time off for December and that. And I still haven't done my video yet. I keep forgetting, and I do have them down here too. I want to do a video to show you in 2021 all the journals I bought and used. Every year I try to do that, and I usually have it done by the end of February, and I'm like behind. Hey Chris, Metro Sonic's in the house. Metro has been with me almost from the beginning of my channel. He's another awesome person, and he's got the cutest fiance. They look so cute together. When you go to meet your woman, Paul, are you going to do a video with you 2 together so we can meet her too? I like when people do meetups. I think it's cute. And then they come on camera. I am yet to meet my first YouTuber. I haven't done it yet for YouTube. I keep forgetting about Nancy. I share all the people that I met from Yahoo, but I always forget about my Nancy. Me and her met too. She brought her boys up. We went to one of the train places up here. But I met a girl, Rita, that I flew to Florida to meet, and I took my 2 girls on the flight with me, and that's the first time we all flew together. We went to Fort Myers. We went to Cracker Barrel in St. Pete, and we met for breakfast. I wished I would have had more time to stay, but she was one of my friends that was fighting lupus. I knew her for 6 years on Yahoo, and she passed away after we met, and I miss her. And then her husband, Bob, I knew her brother, Gary. Bob passed away too. He had cancer. He died like 4 or 5 months after she passed away, but I have pictures of us together, so I'm happy about that. And then, Marcy, she was 30 minutes away from me, and it took me 4 years to meet her because we just had busy lives. But when I took computer classes, we ended up meeting at Wendy's, and we had a ball, and we're still friends. She's on my Facebook. And then there's Kim, who from Australia came and stayed with me for 10 days. She's on my Facebook. We're still friends. She came and stayed with me for 10 days. We had a blast. There was another friend I had for almost 14 years. We came close to meeting, but we never got to. And it was sad because he was my best friend. He was from Tennessee. We exchanged presents through the years. I got tons of gifts from him for Christmas. We would swap stuff. And I was in part of Tennessee, but not the part he lived in. And he actually was here in West Virginia, like almost an hour away from me, but we never got to meet because I had pink eye. I was sick when he ended up coming here, but it wasn't planned. He was working for a company and truck driving, and he contacted me. He said, "Guess where I'm at?" And I was like, "Where?" He told us, "You got to be freaking kidding me!" And I was sick, so it's weird. We've been to each other's states, but we've never met face to face yet. So, and then he got married, so I don't know. We'll probably never meet now. And then, who else did I meet? So it was Nancy, Rita. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. A really good friend named Jay. Me and him met face to face. But I still feel like there's somebody else. And then David was my first friend. We met in AOL, but we continued our friendship through Yahoo. And I actually met Marcy in AOL too. Dial-up of all things. But the rest of them was Yahoo. So they were my first two friends. And then we all went to Yahoo together. And then Dave and I have never met, but he's my longest. We exchange Christmas cards every year. So you can make some really good friends through the internet. You know, you can. And then Vic and I are still friends through Facebook, and he's from India. We met through Yahoo too. And then some of the friends went to Pal Talk, but I don't know. Pal Talk is kind of dead. There's only one person that I still see. One person I met in Pal Talk that we're still friends. I don't sign in it too much, but sometimes I do just to chat with old friends. And another one that I met in Yahoo that went to Pal Talk. So, but I never met anybody in Pal Talk either face to face. Most of my people were from Yahoo. So I don't know who my first YouTube friend's going to be that I get to meet in person. I have no clue. A lot of my YouTube friends, though, they live so far away. It's like I don't know anybody on YouTube that lives where I live. It's like, hello, West Virginia people. Where the hell you hiding? I think the closest in my state is Llama Monster. We send each other stuff for Christmas too, but I don't. He lives so far down my state that I would have to make a trip. He wants to do a get together, and I said it'd be so cool. But he's the only one that I know that lives. He's the closest that I know. I don't know if, I mean, I'm sure there's YouTubers on here that might be closer. I just haven't met them. And I think there was one crafter that lived a couple places away, but we really don't talk that much. And it's weird how some people who live close to people, I don't know, they don't want to meet people close to them. I don't know. It's just weird. No, I haven't, real. I haven't heard from Pop lately. As a matter of fact, I haven't even got a notification from him or nothing. And then there was another friend I had from the UK on here, and I really hated not knowing what happened to him, and that was Chris. Me and Chris were so close. Like, we used to cam and talk all the time on Messenger. And he was in the United States going to Florida State University. He got a visa to come here because the story was his mom married an American. I guess they met through the net. She came here, but he was 18. He was already 18 when this happened. His brother was a minor, but he wasn't. So his brother got to come here. He was from Plymouth. And all I know was that he got a visa to come here to go to college. But at the time when you came here from I don't know if it's from every country, because I never talked to a lot of people from different countries that came here for college. But Chris told me on his visa, before he came here to take classes in Florida, you had to have the full balance to be able of your college tuition to come. So what had happened was he had the full tuition when he came here. That's how he got the visa to come here. He was taking classes in computer science, and his mom fell ill with cancer. Well, her and her husband hadn't been married long enough for her to get medical care. So he used his college money to help his mother. So then he was sad one day when he come on, because he said he had to go back to the UK because his visa ran out, and there's nothing you can do. Like, you can work on college campus here, but you can't work anywhere else to get a green card to make money, and all the jobs were full. So he had to go back to the UK, wait so many months. It was so much red tape this poor kid had to go through. Finally got his stuff straightened out, came back again, and then I don't know if his mother ended up passing away. I don't know, because when Yahoo went away, we had no other way to contact each other but Hotmail, because we were on MSN. But then I deleted my accounts, not thinking, because he did have my phone number. We talked on the phone once. And it was funny because my daughter answered the phone and she says, "Mom, I think it's some guy from Australia." And he says, "She's cheeky like her mother." He says, "I'm not from Australia." It was just so funny because she didn't know the difference in the accents, but I thought it was cute. But because we used to goof around in a computer room. That's how we met. Was it a Yahoo computer room called Hackers Lounge 1? And he picked me to pick on, and that's how we became friends, because we were talking back and forth a lot on the microphone and text and stuff in the chat room, and that's how we became friends. And I liked it because we hung out with a lot of people who were into internet security, and some of them were into programming languages. It was an awesome room. Even though it was called the Hackers Lounge, there was really nice people in there. I learned a lot. I got certified in computers because of that room and the people I met. But because I had no way to get a hold of him. He had a disposable phone thing, and he didn't like talking on the phone a whole lot. He was real shy. And but I have pictures. Like, I print screen pictures, because we would print screen pictures of each other when we were on cam making faces and stuff. I have tons of pictures of him, and I saw him live, so I know he's real. But I often wondered if his mom passed away. Did he finish? Things like that. But I was teaching him geometry. He was having a struggle with some math. So we were passing things back and forth, and then he got a job under the table doing some kind of fireplace site, and he asked for my opinion on fonts because he knew I like play in art. And he sent me pieces of Flash, and he made some pictures to go on my profile, and we just had fun. But I don't know what happened to him, and that's the one thing I hate about the internet, is you don't know the ending. It's like, I want to know what happened, but he disappeared. Well, that was nice, real. See, that's cool, Metro. And that's one thing I love too about the web, is you get to talk to people, from different places all over the world, and you get to hear different points of view, because not everybody thinks the way you do. And it's very interesting that there's a whole wide world out there of differences of opinions. That's what I love about the web. It was like opening up a whole new book and a whole new life for me because I haven't been out of my country. I would love to travel, but it takes the moolah. So I just listened to people and got to hear them. And I remember there was a guy I knew on Yahoo who went by the name Wanker. That was actually his screen name. And they were just awesome guys. I mean, I really met some really cool guys in the Hackers Lounge because they would put their cams in their windows and I was able to see like into their country. And I felt that was so much fun. And Charlene, she's on my Facebook. She's from Australia. She told me, she sent me a calendar and some mail from over in Australia, and they've never seen snow like we have. So one year I stuck a cam in our window and me and my daughter were throwing snowballs at us. Charlene says, I just wanted to dive through the cam into your snow. She says, because, over there they call it snowflakes instead of snow flurries like we do on the news. And the listening and languages, like, UK person says, I'm going to have a fag. They mean a cigarette. I was talking about biscuits. Biscuits over there is a cookie. Or over here, it's a bread. And my friend, Happy Little Nut was her screen name. I loved her. She was from New Zealand. She used to call me Tim Tam. I never knew what Tim Tams were until I found them on Amazon and I ordered a package. She kept telling me they were like this little tasty cake. They're actually really tasty. And then one of my friends, from Australia, how she was saying their McDonald's, they have Aussie burger. She says it's not like the same, Big Mac and Aussie burger. I was like, what do you mean Aussie burger? Like, it's so cool to hear the differences in languages, and the slangs that we use. I love it. And and Chris used to call me a Muppet. I said, I'll give you Muppet. I looked up what a Muppet meant. And I said, you're such a brat. But it was fun, because we could pick on each other. We didn't even know what each other's slangs were in the different countries, but we had so much fun. We really did. Oh, that's too funny. Wow. But that's what I mean. It's so cool to hear your slangs, that compared to what we use in the States. I love it. That was my biggest thing about the web is that you can go anywhere on vacation, but who do you get to know? You know what I mean? Like if you go for like a week or two, who do you really talk to? You really don't get to know anybody, but the web you can. You actually can get to know people personally, like me and Kim from Australia. Who would have ever thought before I came on the internet that a girl from Australia would stay at my house for 10 days? I've never met anybody out of my country ever. So to me, it was just such an opening. And I hate that people take this for granted. It's like, I just want to hurt people when they cause issues where people want to shut the internet down. It's like, stop bullying, stop being so stupid because you don't realize the doors this has opened for so many people. They don't get it. I hate when people abuse a good thing, but I love it. Because we had a lot of good times. We really did. But I wished, and I even tried to, I tried to contact Chris a couple times, but there's no luck. Like I tried to find him on Facebook. I don't know what happened to him. Have no clue. And people are in our lives for a reason and a season. You just got to make the best of what you do. And Pop-Tart, when I met him, that was funny. We picked on him the first time in his stream. I was in there with Kat. And we had so much fun picking on him because he was in a store shopping. And me and her just started picking on him incessantly. I told him, I said, get some Jagans. And she says, yeah, try them on. And then uh, she was asking him a bunch of questions. And I said, okay, now show us some granny panties. Pop says, I'm not going to go that far. We picked on him so bad that day. But that's what I mean is he made it fun because he was game. Like, he let us pick on him. And we've been friends ever since. Poor guy. But I do like to visit history when I can. That's the whole thing about friends, though. When you become friends with people and you can be goofy. Just be yourself. I'd have to really dig my external hard drive to find a picture of Chris. But he had some tattoos too. I remember he had tattoos on his arm. And he told me he'd been in trouble in the past, which is no big deal. I don't care about a person's past. But I don't know much about, I think you pronounce it Plymouth. That's where he's from. I did look it up once. And but I don't know I don't know if he ended up staying in the States or not. I don't know what happened. I just know he went through a lot. I just like to know if he got his computer science degree. Because I know he was working hard on it. He was taking C++ language the last time I was talking to him. It's been a long time ago. Yahoo shut down in 2012. So it's been a long time. And I was trying to even remember how old he was because I know he was younger than me. I don't know how old he'd be now. I can't remember how old he was back then. Because I started out, AOL dial-up sucked. I remember starting out, we got our first computer in 2001 or 2000. My daughter and them were playing, and that's back when they had floppy disks. We had a Quasar, but it wasn't online. And then I remember in 2001, I got an XP Home Edition, and I had AOL dial-up, but I really wasn't into chat rooms. I was I was like a kid. You guys would have died laughing to see me the first time on a computer because we didn't have them in school. I remember I took typing. We had an electric typewriter, but I was like, oh my God, these animated smileys. Like I was so fascinated by animation that I kept collecting everything. My husband's looking at me like I'm crazy. Because I would surf the web looking for anything that moved. And I was saving them in folders in my computer because I was so fascinated. I thought animation was like the coolest thing ever on the web. And it's funny because I ended up making animations later. I could still make animations. But it was just a blast. Like I was so suckered by those things that moved, those little smiley faces in your emails. I was like a little kid. And I just had fun. And then somebody was an IT person. I met some people from the UK on MSN, and this guy sent me a $900 program for free. And I remember opening it up and open up the animation and then learning how to make animations. I was just so fascinated. And I remember I'd be in the chat room and everybody'd say, because I always had passion in my name, by the way. So that's kind of stuck with me. But I remember people saying, the guys from the UK used to call me Pash. And they would say, Pash is over there being quiet. She's not saying anything. She must be in a naughty box. And I said, I'm not in no naughty box. I'm over here creating animations. But it would lag my computer out because when you make so many animations, it's like you need a gamer computer. Like it would really lag the hell out of my stuff. But I had so much fun. So I'd be in my corner doing my own thing. And they were thinking I was over there being bad. I said, I'm not being bad. I might sound naughty, but that doesn't mean I am. They were always trying to get me in trouble. Let's see here. Should I add a music picture? I think I should. Here is Amy's dyed music pages. So we're going to stick one of these in here too. Give me a minute. I'll read chat, Paul. I know he's going to be in there. She never reads what I say. Because you males are so demanding, even on the internet. Let me see here. This is so cool. I love that she dyes music pages. So I'm going to put one of these in here too. So we have blue to coffee to picture to green with some Santa. I like that because of the frame. To that, to that. And then we will do a music page. Okay. Before I get my scissors out. You still reading your book? Oh, I sent somebody to your channel, Chris. We met on another stream and he had Sonic in his ID. And I said, here's a link. Check out Metro Sonic because he likes Sonic too. And they were like, oh, cool. So I hope they come visit you. Yes, Plymouth, Southern England. Okay, that's interesting. You pick on him real. He is fun to pick on, isn't he? He's hysterical. See, I'm German. I have German, Irish. That's so funny. When I had my DNA done, I sent it to the Ancestry DNA. It came out German, Irish, United Kingdom. Can you believe it? That was my top 3 in my DNA. It's a talk about a mixed mutt. So I told my mom, because the one thing about the DNA, it was really cool because it gave you all these percentages down to 2%, and then it would give you maps to the right-hand side, basically where the people were located. And clear at the bottom of mine, it said like 2% Western Jewish. I don't know. I'm a mutt. I'm telling you, it was such a mixture. But I couldn't figure out where the Irish came from. I'm not even sure where the United Kingdom came from, but it's in there. But the Irish, I found out, I didn't know this until after my grandparents had died, but my great-grandparents were involved in the Underground Railroad. And I never knew that. And there was a publication in a newspaper. I actually sent Ty a copy of it. I don't know where it's at right this second, but it told a story about how the farmhouse that my mother was raised in, there was hidden tunnels under that house. I never knew that. I played there all the time as a kid and I never knew that part of that house. But they would hide slaves there and then take them down further down the river to where the actual railroad ran to get the people. They could have died, even saving people. It was dangerous for everybody. But it said in the paper, my grandfather, my mother's dad, was Irish. And that's how I found out where the Irish came from, because it was actually in that paper. And I about died. I was like, oh my God, that's so cool that my grandfather was Irish. And I told my mom when I asked her, she goes, I don't know. I said, it was your dad. You didn't even know that your dad was Irish? But I wish my mom and dad would get their DNA done. I think it would be so cool to just see the outcomes. My husband tells everybody he's from Transylvania. He wishes he was Dracula. I said, quit telling the grandkids that. He tells my grandkids that all the time. He goes, I'm from Pennsylvania, and he goes, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, would you quit it? But I know my husband has Italian in him, and he's got Slovak because his grandfather had Slovak, and his grandmother on his dad's side of the family was full-blooded Italian. And man, that woman could cook. I mean, you would go there for a spread and you could take a tablespoon of everything they had, and your plate would be filled and you wouldn't have no room. That's how much that woman would cook. She was an amazing cook. And my grandmother would tell me stories, but everything that she said was in my bloodline wasn't. I mean, clear down to 2%. I had no African American, I had no Indian. She used to tell us stories about having Indian in our blood, like somebody in our family was married to Cherokee or Blackfoot or something. She's telling me stories about this all the time, but Indian never showed up in my blood, so I don't know. Unless it was somebody that married into the family. But it was interesting. It's very interesting to see your DNA. I want to know my roots. I like knowing. I think it's cool. I definitely got the German chin. The little poked out chin. You can tell I have German. But my maiden last name is German. This is how my maiden last name is spelled. I don't care who knows. It's no big deal. I'm not hiding because my bookstore's in my house. So my information's out there anyway. That's my maiden name. And if you look at the second part of it, that means farmer in German. Bauer is there. It's Millbauer. That's how it's pronounced, and that's German. And that's all I know. I had a great uncle that fought in the Battle of the Bulge against the United States, where it was German in the United States. He got a Purple Heart, but he was fighting for the United States side. I have never been to Germany. I know no words in German, but I do have German in my blood. And then my mom's side of the family, they're German too. So we do have a high percent of German, and then it goes down. I know it's funny when my daughter gets mad, her husband calls her Hitler. I said, don't even go there. That's just wrong. He teases her though. He says, you're so bossy. I can hear the German in you, you Hitler. Because she always keeps her kids just so. It's so funny. I said, don't be calling her Hitler. That's a freaking insult. But I'll show you my grandkids. They're so stinking cute. I love my grandbabies. Especially Kylie. She's such a stinker. She's so bossy. She's a bossy little booger. Here's one of the twins. She looks like her dad. Look at her in that mermaid dress. That's Layla. Here's Livia. They're twins. One looks like their mom, one looks like their dad. Layla and Livia. She looks like Wonder Woman. Here's my youngest, Kristen, her husband Trey, and there's Ethan, that's her son, and she's got another son, Steven. Got to show my grandbabies. It's hard to get them all together in one picture, though. Here they're all together on Halloween. That's Christopher in the back with the cap on. That's my daughter Jade to the left. Livia's beside her, and her oldest son is the clown. And then there's Layla, and then the little one down there in the doctor's outfit, that's Kylie. She's gonna be a heartbreaker. Blonde haired, blue eyed. Hey, Lisa. I'm showing my brag book with my babies. There's my youngest daughter, Kristen, and her husband, Trey. Let me get a good one of Jade. I don't know if I have a good one with her and Jade together. Should have a good picture in there in here somewhere. Look at this. This is my daughter Jade when she was little. Look at that face. Look at that face. My cousin posted that to tease my daughter on Facebook, and we were laughing. What a fake smile. Oh my goodness, these pictures are funny. Yeah, there's nothing like. Here's my daughter side by side. Kristen's on the left and Jade's on the right. There's my babies. They're close too, and I'm glad. I hope they always stay close. Jade's super mom. Like, whenever I want something done, she's over here fixing it. Here's her and her son. That's Jade and Angelo. That's my oldest grandson. Jade's got my high cheekbones when she smiles. There's Layla. She was so young there. I love their pictures. My little brag book on my phone. Oh, here's when they were younger. There's Angelo and the twins. I told him, I said, boy, you're outnumbered. Poor kid. And then Steven's on here somewhere. My other grandson, I got to find him. See, this is my mom and dad. That's my mom and dad. Look at my dad's face. He looks like a grump. But my dad is one of the nicest people you will ever want to meet. He gives a shirt off his back for anybody. When he knows you're out of job, he's the first one to bring food to your house. Very giving person. Where in the heck is Steven? Look at this one. This is Ethan when he was little. He's like peeking over something. Look how ornery he looks. All right, Chris, you have a good one. He's so ornery. And here's my other grandson, Steven. This is a little bit of an older picture, but I don't know where his newest one is. I don't know if I have it on my phone because sometimes I clear my phone off. And here's my ornery hubby that you guys never get to see. He thinks he's Mr. Cool Dude in his dark shades. 33 years. Oh, God. We've been putting up with each other. I ask him when my prison sentence is over. I tease him all the time. Oh, here's the crew. This was last year at Halloween. There's Angelo and Steven looking like Mario. And then there's Livia and Layla. And Kylie. I don't think Ethan's in that picture. No, he's not in this one. Hey, Ja. That's my babies. My rotten kids. My rotten grandkids, and I love it all. They're just awesome. Let me see here. No, I have not heard the news. What happened? Gotta give my hugs. Ty calls me the hug ho, so I have to be a hug ho. All right, Paul. You be good. Did you finish your book? I'm actually reading a book right now by James Patterson. And boy, is it good. It's James Patterson with someone else, and it's called Guilty Wives. And it starts out with these women in jail, in prison. You're kidding. Oh my goodness. Congrats. Look at you go. You should see her daughter. She's so stinking cute. I cannot believe how much she's grown. Jaw was my first and only online baby shower. She was having her baby and she wasn't with her family. So I told everybody, let's throw her a YouTube baby shower. So that's what we did. We sent her, I don't know who all sent her stuff, but I had a ball shopping for her baby. She's so stinking cute too. And I never seen so much hair on a kid. Did you have a lot of heartburn when you were pregnant with her? Boy, I did. I lived with things right beside me. I had Tums, like a whole tub of Tums. Both times I was pregnant, I had heartburn terribly. Jade came out with straight black hair sticking up. Kristen, she was born bald. She was bald for the longest time, and then all her hair came in. But I had heartburn terribly. They say if you have a kid with a lot of hair, you have heartburn. I don't know, but I know I did. That's too funny. So you're going to find out what it is, or you're going to let it be a surprise? I like surprises. I didn't want to know. But that's just me. Surprise, surprise. Oh. Now I had mine 6 years apart. I wanted another one, but we never did get to have our third. But it's okay. If I would have had another girl, I think my husband felt outnumbered. I think if I would have had another girl, I would have named her Justice. Justiss. I don't know why, but I love that name. I'd have had a Jade, a Kristen, and a Justice. Justice Nicole was the name I had picked out. So when my daughter had Kylie, she couldn't think of a middle name for her when she was in the hospital. I said, what about Nicole? So she took the Nicole name. So she's Kylie Nicole. It's Livia Rose, which Rose is my husband's grandmother's first name. And then it was, I think Layla's middle name's Marie. And that was after my grandmother and my daughter, because her name is Jade Marie, who was named after my grandmother that was my dad's side. I love the name Marie. I think it's a pretty name. Now, my mom, she named my sister after her mom and the other grandmother, and she had my brother, and I wasn't supposed to be here. She had her first two 18 months apart. She was done. I kind of came in there 3 years later. I snuck in. So she named me after the song Tammy that Debbie Reynolds sang. God, that song's crazy. When I first heard it's when I came to YouTube. I never heard of this song, but I was named after a song. And if you Google while YouTube the song Tammy by Debbie Reynolds, you'll hear what I was named after. (1957) song. I'm not going to play it, but it's old. That's what she named me after. And my middle name, I have no clue where she came up with that. Because I wasn't named after anybody in my family. And I'm a January baby. So my birthday has already been here and gone. But I love it because I have Christmas and then so how is it? Goes Christmas, then my anniversary is January 21st, then my birthday is the 29th, and then my husband's birthday is this month. He's a March baby. And I told my mother no cheating. Don't be holding back Christmas presents for my birthday. So I used to pick on her about that all the time. She'd laugh. Oh, she wants a brother. That's so cute. No matter what you have, I hope they get along. That's the thing. The best thing in the world is when your kids get along. Too many siblings have too many rivalries nowadays. Okay, so I have a snowy looking picture there. So I did green. I'm going to do brown again. The coffee died. I could have sworn. I could have sworn I had Christmas pictures and horse pictures to add. And where did I put them? Let me see here. See, I clean. I can't find stuff. Hold on. There's some pictures I wanted to add to this, but I don't know where I did with them. Unless I left them upstairs by my printer, which could be a good possibility. Because I am not seeing them, guys. Let's see, there's these. I have misplaced them. But where did I put them is the question. Yep. I am not seeing them on my pile sitting here. That's not good. Lord only knows. Every time I clean, I lose stuff. I dropped my paper. There it is. Okay. We'll do this one. There's a picture there, but I really don't want to keep that one in here, so I'm going to cover it. You You were born in January too. Shaw. That's so cute. I like her name. I think Odessa's pretty. She has a unique name. I have a friend whose husband was stationed in London when he was in the military, and her son was born in London, so he's got dual citizenship. Isn't that cool? That would be cool. To belong to 2 different countries would be awesome. Yeah, that can peek out the side. Yeah, because, if he wanted to change countries when he got older or whatever, he could move to either one. I think that would be freaking awesome. I don't know the rules to that. I was just talking about that to somebody over the weekend. My mother-in-law had knee surgery, and we went to visit her because I made the comment, and I don't know, somebody can enlighten me if you know, is like when we were watching people leave the Ukraine, going into whatever countries they're going into, how do they do that? Like I know like we have to have a passport to travel, but how is it possible if you don't marry somebody in another country? How can you live? So then I started Googling some information, like, because, some famous stars and actors and stuff, they have different houses in different countries. And I'm like, how do they pull that off? And it's really interesting when you read how a person can buy real estate in another country. Some of it doesn't allow it. So I don't know how a person does that. Like, I mean, even if a war is going on, that's beside the point. How are they being able to get into another country unless they have a way to? Because like when you go to visit, usually when you have a visa, it's a period of time, or you usually have to state when you're on vacation. How I don't know. I don't know any of the laws because I've never been out of the country. But I find that interesting to ask. You know, like if your country's in the middle of a war, how do you leave it? I know you got to have a passport, right? But what if you don't have one? Then what do you do? I don't know. I don't know how any of this works, but I'm curious. And sometimes you can get the information on Google and sometimes you can't. But I do know that I had a cousin who had brought his girlfriend here from Canada, and they got married, and she was here legally, but then she stayed past her legal time, and then she was here illegally. And they were married for a while, but then when they ended up getting divorced, she got the money to go back to Canada, but it's like she was here illegally for a period of time. I don't know how she didn't get in trouble, but they got her back to her country. So I don't know. I just find all that interesting. It seems like a headache to me. But like, when Chris went through that with his visa to go to school here, it was a pain in the butt. Like me and my friend Cass at the time, we were up all night online looking up information for him to be able to stay here with his mom, but he couldn't. Once his visa ran out, he had to go back for a period of time. I can't remember if it was 6 months he had to wait, and then his visa was renewed to come back, but there was a period of time. I just like to know how that stuff works because I'm curious. I don't know. I do not know. So I don't know if any of you know that information or not in here. How all that works. I do know the news is depressing. And I don't mind talking about the Ukraine and politics on my channel. So don't ever feel like you guys can't talk about any topic, because you're more than welcome. I don't have a censor over here. Like I said, I don't care if I ever get paid by YouTube. So it doesn't matter. I like talking about important topics. And I don't care who people vote for. I don't get mad about it. I might not like some of the things our ridiculous president's doing right now, but I'm not going to be mad at people that voted for him. I was literally blocked from a stream for voting for Trump. I got blocked, and I think that's absolutely hysterically funny, but I don't care, because that's who I felt was appropriate. And if people don't agree with me, well, that's fine. In my opinion, I think he needed etiquette. I feel like there's a lot of respect lost when people are running for any office in our country. There's a lot of mudslinging when people, I talked about this before on my channel. I do not approve of how he talks at times, Trump. But sometimes you just got to pick the better person over what you're up against, because it's not like we have a bunch of, yeah, but Biden's not my president. I never voted him in. I don't want nothing to do with that man. But the point is, when I was in school and we had to run for office for like treasurer or anything like that, and even when I was growing up, whether you ran for treasury, president, vice president, whatever, middle school, high school, it seemed to me that politics of that nature was supposed to be about what I can do if you elect me. There was none of this, oh, this person did this and this person did that, and slinging shit, so to speak. It was respectfully done. And I feel like we lost that somewhere. And that's what I always say. Could you imagine if George Washington, God forbid, came back, or any of the older presidents, and listened to how these people talk to each other? It would be a joke. Like, they would put them to shame because there was such class, just respectfully, the way they talk to each other. There wasn't none of these endorsement, stupid commercials against other people. It was what you could do as a leader. And I feel like that needs to come back. There should have never been all this fighting just to have an election. I remember sitting down and watching Trump and Hillary for 5 minutes. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then they had to have a mediator come in because they couldn't act like adults. It was just awful. But I told my husband, I just feel like they should go back to stop mudslinging and tell what they want to do to improve things. Talk to people, be for the people, not a puppet. And I'm sorry, but Biden needs to be in a damn nursing home. I actually was, me and my husband used to get our taxes done. And this is why I feel the way I do about him. My husband worked out of state, and to collect his taxes from that state, you have to file different papers because he's not working in the same state we live. So we went to this attorney that was a friend of my dad's. And he says, you have to have these special papers. So apparently we got these special papers we had to get. The next time we went in, he told us something different. I told my husband, this is getting ridiculous. We made like 5 trips to see this. He was an attorney. that was supposedly doing taxes for people. And I looked at him, my husband, I said, we're switching people because this guy sounds like he's in the early stages of dementia. And I know this because I've worked in the field in private care. And that's what Biden's doing. He's doing the same shit this guy said. He can't even come out with a proper sentence when he's on TV. And it's not making fun of him, but I feel like that whenever anybody runs for any kind of presidency or anything in our state, they need a mental competency test. Even after a certain age here, you have to retake your drivers to an extent because they want to make sure you're still mentally capable of driving. Because trust me, I've been behind some elderly people, and it's not fun when they miss your car by a couple inches because they didn't look behind you, behind themselves, and they almost wreck into your car. And it is hard because I had an uncle. They had a hell of a time taking his driver's license off of him because he thought he was mentally capable and he wasn't. And I see the same signs I saw in this lawyer, and we left him. We quit, and I told my dad, I'm sorry, but I'm not using your friend because he has issues. I said we had to go back to him 5 times, and he kept changing his story. I said, Mike and I can't have that for our taxes. So we switched to someone else. I'm so glad we did. Now, mind you, so many years later, this same lawyer, I think he was coming into the phase and he was in denial of it. He ended up getting a hold. My parents came into, because my dad, he's my friend. I believe in him, blah, blah, blah. They came into mineral rights on property my grandfather left. And he screwed them out of so much money because guess what? He had to close his practice because full dementia came. So I wasn't wrong. And the facts showed my parents had to stop paying the IRS and they had to go and have a set of attorneys fix what this man screwed up. And it was a mess that they had to dig through because he messed up on their taxes so bad. And he had to retire. He was forced to retire from his business. And these attorneys told my parents they had never seen such a mess in their life that they had to go through. They said, I wonder how many other taxes he's messed up on people. So, and that's just how I feel, and I see the same signs in Biden. He can't even complete sentences sometimes. And I understand that we all go through forgetful stages, how I forget stuff all the time, but not like that. You can't run a country and be like that. You have to be sharp when you're representing the people. And I just didn't care for him. I didn't like what he had to say, and I just didn't. And there's a lot of people that don't like Trump because of the way he felt about women. I get that because he was from that era where women were below your feet, and that's just the way it was. And it's not that I respected him for that reason. I didn't vote for him for that reason. I voted for him for what he said he was going to do, and he did do. But the media lied about so much stuff that he did, that they say he did, that he was not responsible for, because I don't pay attention to the media. I do my own research. I don't listen to what, other people say. I find out for myself. And that's just how, and I tell people that all the time. You're going to have to find another source besides the media to pay attention to, because if not, you're not going to hear the truth. And a lot of stars and a lot of people had people brainwashed for the wrong reasons. And now they're finding out because he ain't so bright after all with everything that's going on. And I remember when they left the people in the States, my husband served in the Navy. You don't leave a man behind. And that's just the way it is. Unless it's in a crucial situation where they're already dead, you do not leave a man behind. And when he left them people in that country, if you watch Glenn Beck, there's an episode, he had me in tears. When he broke down and cried because of what Biden did, it was awful. He says, because it doesn't represent the people. And, and a thing that I feel very passionate about, and I will speak why, is my husband will always make the comment, when stuff was going on with Iraq and everything, he would make comments like, I just wish they would bomb the whole entire country. We don't have to listen to him anymore. And I'm like, Michael, you cannot blame the people for who runs their country. I didn't vote for Biden. How do you think other people you would feel if someone would come to you and say, well, Biden left them people behind. Maybe the United States needs blown off the map and we don't have to deal with their shit anymore. I don't want to be blamed for what somebody who came into office did that I didn't elect. So you can't blame every single person in a country for what their leader does. And that's just the fact. And I just get so mad when he makes those comments because I don't want to be blamed for somebody else's actions. It's not my fault. I didn't vote him in to do what he did. And when he broke down, he had me crying with him because I was like, those people should have never been left there. And hearing the stories and stuff, and it just made the American people look really stupid. And it makes our government look dumb. And I've talked to, you go into Pal Talk and sometimes you're in a chat room with 7 different countries. It's very interesting to hear the feedback from other people. And there are a lot of countries that think we look like a joke. And I don't appreciate it because I don't feel the same way that some other Americans do. And it just burns me when people make those type of comments. It really gets to me. It does. Because I don't want to be responsible for someone else's actions and their stupidity of choices. I don't care who it is. All I know is that, we have a Miss America pageant with all these contestants, and we only have like 2 people or 3 people to choose from to be president, and it sucks because we don't have a big choice. So sometimes you just got to look past some faults of the person and pick who you think would be the better leader. Sometimes that's all you have to choose from, even if you might not like either one. But I do have the power to vote, and I do it because I feel like it is my responsibility because it's my country. I want to see it heal. I don't want to see all this crap and everybody fighting, but I'm not going to put somebody on block because they vote for somebody I don't. You know what I mean? That's asinine. I feel that everybody can speak their opinion and you don't have no problems. I'm not going to block you for it. Just don't call me stupid for what I did. I never called anybody stupid for voting for Biden, but I just think it's a shame that a lot of people don't see the reality of what was done and what wasn't done, what was real and wasn't real. That's all I say is do your own research and then make your choice. Don't let people influence you on who to vote for. Make it be your choice. And I've seen a lot of fights going on Twitter for people, because people voted for certain people. They were calling them names, all that crap. And, you can talk this stuff out. Talk why you vote. Explain. Tell how you feel. You can do it in a way without it turning into the bomb squad and fighting with each other. I think communication is just such a key thing. And it's just really sad when it doesn't happen. And it's just sad. Or people that don't back up what they say. And it made me sick watching Critical Cripple's channel. I think I posted his channel link in here before. He does a lot of live streams on what's going on in the Ukraine. And it is so sad to see them tell them they're safe to come out of their house and they shoot them. It's sickening. Let me get Critical's channel up here. Because if you really want to watch a really good one, as far as staying on top of the news, he does a really good job. And then my favorite channel of watching what's going on in the United States, I have a couple channels I like watching just to get differences of opinions. If anybody's interested in. I like watching Glenn Beck, and I also like watching this channel because they're pretty good with the truth. Even if I don't always agree with everything, they try to keep it factual and not opinionated. They give reasons why they believe in the people they do. The Telegraph is a really good channel too. And if anybody has any, you got Blue, you can share channel links in for people you like listening to too. But I like those channels. My personal preference. I like Glenn for one of the reasons that he used to have a television show. And then he also, there's a channel called The Blaze TV, and that's kind of like a newspaper type place he works for. But they really talk about the true things that are going on, not the leftist opinion or people that don't know what they're talking about. Glenn we even say when he had his channel, I never went to college. I don't have a degree or anything like that. So I'm just a man that studies history and tries not to repeat the same mistakes. And he's the first one that will tell you, go learn on your own. Find out the truth for yourself. Don't listen to the media and all the garbage you hear or listen to movie stars. Find out for yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I like him so much. And I think the Blaze, let me see. Yeah, this has got 1.5 million followers. So they must not be too dumb for what they talk about. Glenn Beck works for the Blaze, and this is the Blaze channel. So people want to be up close and informed. If you watch your local news station, do that, but then compare it to these channels. That's why I like listening to a variety. Because you hear this side, and then the truth down the middle. And it's awesome. I've learned so much watching those channels. It's not even funny. And I think Critical Cripple is in the United Kingdom. I think that's where he is from. Because I know there's a lot of UK people that hang in his stream, like Lucy Luxor and Math Pig. I love their IDs. They all hang in his stream, and they seem like really funny people. I've been to their streams a few times. These ones back here are done. I don't know what I did with these pictures. I could have sworn I brought them down. Darn it anyways. Wherever they're hiding, I have no clue. They might be upstairs by my other printer, because I know they're not down here because I do not see them, even though I thought I brought them down here. So I'm not going to put foiled paper on there. Well, mine's just drawing a blank. My husband came down here because we had to do some stuff. But I could have sworn I brought them down here. We're getting ready for a big yard sale coming up in June. We have a community one, which is nice. And we rearranged a bunch of stuff, but I thought I brought them down here, but I guess I didn't. But I don't remember seeing them by my computer either. So Lord only knows where I set these things. Because I'll get distracted. And then I'll set something somewhere and then I can't remember that I put it there. So who knows? It's got brown. We'll do another brown page. I'm going to try to get as much of this as I can done. I was hoping to have this completely done tonight. But I don't think it's going to work out that way. So we'll do another brown one beside it. And it doesn't matter if the images in this are copyrighted or not because I'm keeping this one. I even have some little pictures missing. Yeah, because I remember having a piece of paper that said January on it too, because I wanted to use it, being it was my birth month. Huh. And the plot thickens. At least I thought I did. So put this piece here. And then, let's see here, maybe it's buried in between these. Which could be a possibility. Oh, there it is. There's one. There's another one. Yeah. What's this one here? I could kind of put that in the middle, huh? So we'll take in around the edges. It didn't round very good. I don't know why I did that. Unless the paper wasn't even, which could be a good possibility, because I know I do not cut straight. I like that right there. That's kind of cute. So we will put this right in the center. My January winter book. And then this piece here. I'll put that right there. So it's like this. So put this in the corner. This is going to be so fun to build up when it's finished. I love my journals. I tell you who I wish would run for president next is Joe Manchin. Oh, he would be good to run. I don't know if he will, but I wish he would. I might have a piece of blue left. She's standing by post. It's like a post box. I think I might leave that picture there. I don't remember post office mailboxes looking like that one. We always had squared ones. That one's round. Did I talk politics and chase everybody away? That's hysterical. Everybody left the building. That's too funny. Yeah, because I thought I ran off some Christmas pictures too. So let me see. We have with a piece of paper. I probably put it over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Hold on. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 42, 43, 45, 46. We've got 47 pages left to cover, and we are done with this book. That's why I say to take out as many pages as you can when you are ripping the pages out, because I like mine lesser than this, usually between, I think, like 50 pages to like 80 or something, and I had a lot in this one. We did all this versus that little bit left. So this was a longer one, definitely, for sure. And less pages you do, the less you got to cover. This one here. See that? That is a scrap piece. And did I bury it? No, those are bugs. What I did with those papers. I will have to go look for them for next week because I do not know what I did with them. Hey, Christine, how are you? Yep, I'm just hanging in there trying to get this journal finished, and I thought I had pages, and I don't know what I did with them. I think I left them upstairs because I ran off enough to finish tonight, and I can't find them. Me and hubby came down here and cleaned, so I got lost. They must have got lost in the shuffle. I was at a couple sales, but I just ended up leaving. I need to stop crafting my stash and quit buying so much. I'm taking a break. Me too. I can't believe we woke up with snowflakes today. They were huge. Our ground was covered. I was like, what? Our weather is so weird here. It goes from to where you could wear shorts and then you're back in the snow again. So weird. Did you get to go to any good sales? I was in I think Shauna. I know, me too. I was in Shauna's for a little bit and somebody else's. I don't know. There's so many I can't keep track of them anymore. But it was nice through COVID though. You know, where a lot of people didn't have to go out and shop, and I know there's a lot of people that like to shop from home. So I get it, you know, but it's just getting bad. Me and my husband sat down and he said, we need to start worrying about retirement. So we're going to have to start getting thrifty. So I told him, I said, well, I'm doing a last splurge. So I bought a new laptop. I had people, when I started my bookstore, there was people dropping stuff off. I swear I was their dumping ground. They dumped off VHS tapes, which I do have a VHS player and a CD player in one, so I can check them before I sell them. But I got a bunch of 8-tracks. Like, what the heck am I going to do with 8-tracks? I don't have an 8-track player, but I can't sell anything unless I know they work. So I ordered an 8-track tape player, and then I bought a record player. And I'm so excited about the vinyl record player because I will get to play my old songs I never got rid of. I have 45s, I have albums, and somebody dropped off albums. So now I have vinyl records too that I can't sell because I can't listen to them. So I'm excited to get these items in so that I'm able to check the products. And I don't know if I will sell I'm going to keep the record player, but I told my husband what I might do is I might play the 8 tracks to see if they work, and then maybe sell the player along with all the 8 tracks, because I'm not going to get them anymore. At least I hope not. And just sell them as a bundle, because we're having a yard sale in June, or put it on the Facebook Marketplace. But it's tough, when you get items, because I mean, I have a cassette player still, but it's really hard to get items, people giving you items and you don't know what to do with them. My husband loves AC/DC. That's so funny. He's an AC/DC person too. I'm definitely Def Leppard all the way. I went and seen them in concert 3 times. I love them guys. They were amazing. I saw them in concert before their drummer lost his arm and after, and he was just amazing to play drums with one hand and his feet and how he made it work. But that's probably who I'll listen to, unless I stick on my 45s and I have King Tut. I still have the blue thing. My case is blue that, you twist and turn and pull it up and it holds your 45s. I still have it. I put stickers on mine. And, but I don't know, it's just, I got 3 boxes of 8-track tapes. I didn't even realize it. There's boxes down here. I have no clue what's in them, because I would buy books to replenish like my children's section and stuff. But if I didn't buy them and people dropped them off, I had no clue what they, because they would leave boxes outside my door. I was so shocked when I came down here the other day. Let me see if my pictures, I'll show you on my phone. I sent him to Sandy because I said, you are not going to believe what I opened today. I cleaned a bunch of boxes out of my hallway. It's like a surprise down here. And I was just floored at what came out. This came out of the albums. Look at this. Kids stuff. Our Children Heritage. It's a bunch of kids stories, but it's on records. Storyteller. There's Peter Rabbit. I can't wait to hear these, because I'm going to share some of these with my grandkids, and Uncle Wiggily. And one of these albums is so heavy, it's childproof to where a kid couldn't break it, and it's all kids stories. Then this one came out. I think this is a 33, I think is what this is. It's a flimsy. And the record player I have coming in plays them all. Look at these. I was sending her covers of the albums that I pulled out. Look at this one. This one has Judy Garland and Gene Kelly. And it had Bookshop on the lid, and it was filled with albums. So I don't know if they gave me the old ones or what. I have no clue. And look, there's some of the 8-tracks. And then look what came out of this box. I opened up a box and there was a collection. There was this book of Janis Joplin, this book of Janis Joplin, this of the Beatles, and this here, she's nude. So I don't know if I'll get in trouble. But it was a box and it had a book of her with 3 of her cassettes. That's definitely a collectible. And then this book, or this was the front of the box, I mean. So that came out of another box, and I'm like, wow. Wow. This was the boxes of what they look like. I had them piled up against the wall. I cleaned all these out, and this is what the pile looks like now. Those are the VHS tapes separated. And then, but it was a mess down here because I had a back garage that stored everything, because you got to have an inventory place when you have a business in your house. And we had a leak, so I had to pull everything into my store. It's a mess. It was like a maze down here. So then I started, doing the book videos, and I do 10 at a time, because they'll let you post 10 pictures on the Facebook Marketplace. So what I do is I show them on YouTube. Then I show them as lots, but a person doesn't have to buy the whole lot. They can pick through whatever book they want. Then I post in the marketplace on Facebook, and if it doesn't sell in both places, then some of the books end up becoming journals and some get donated to one of our local thrift stores. That's how I'm trying to save books. Like, I pull everything out I can. And then that's how I've been doing it. So it's hard when people will come to me and say, do you have, Nora Roberts? I can't tell you what I have because they're in boxes and I don't have a place to open them all. It's not like, I'm a new bookstore and I'm ordering these books. It's people calling me saying, I bought a Kindle. I have all these books. Can you take them? Or somebody cleaning their attic out. The only ones I shop for are the ones that I'm replenishing because I have no more. I know that there's no kid ones that I've come across because sometimes they'll have the labels, like action suspense or school books or something, but you don't know if there's Nora Roberts mixed with the romances or whatever. So the only thing I can really tell is by category because I have all my bookshelves full and then I had no place to open them. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm trying to clean out the bookstore because my bookstore is now becoming my craft room. So you can only imagine what a mess it is. It's like a shelf that's half books and half crafts. Another shelf because I try to do a genre a month. So like the whole month of February, I did romance books because it was Valentine's Day last year. And then I'll pick like action, suspense the whole month or whatever because I'm trying to get rid of the books on my shelves first. And then I'm going to open up the boxes because all my craft stuff's going to move into the shelves. It's a mess. It is a mess down here. It is really hard to change a room from one thing to another. But I think I'm going to keep my books part-time and still, when I go out, if I see anything I think that anybody's interested in craft wise, I might still do like a part-time with my live sales and then do craft stuff together. That's what my goal is. But I have 2 Etsy stores sitting empty. Like, I can't get the time doing this. It's a mess. And all the videos I've been posting, where I'm buying off of this person, these are videos that were built up that were supposed to be just for Saturday and Sunday. It was supposed to be 5 days a week for books, but I got behind in December. I had somebody approach me, like I had law books posted and I still haven't distributed them to everybody that picked them. And I had a custom journal that somebody asked me to make, which I just got done, but we got hit with the water tank down here blew. I mean, it was a fountain shooting in the air. I lost some books. It was awful. Thank God it wasn't the Janis Joplin ones. But it flew in the air. It was coming up out of the tank, out of the bottom of the tank. And then we ended up with COVID. I mean, COVID kicked our butt for a long time. So I'm 3 months behind in everything. So I just got her journal done. And now I'm trying to hit up the people to see if they're still into the law books. And then I'm moving forward. Well, thanks for stopping by. I heard you guys are doing amazing with your stamps. I haven't got to go check them out yet. Am I follow? Let me see if I'm following your Etsy. Isn't your Etsy store Sublime something? Let me see. I go into Etsy and I try to follow who I can when they mention their store names. Let me see. What's the name of your Etsy store before you leave? Don't leave yet. Is it Sublime something? Sublime Stamps? Is that what it is? I can't remember. Yes, there we go. I think I found you. Let me see if I got you. Okay. I found you when I seen the name Patrick because I remember remembered your husband's first name. So I'll have to come and check out your stuff. Oh, these are cool. Oh, I like the Santas. Geez, you guys even have reasonable prices. How cool is that's cool. Okay, I gotcha. Take care and thanks for coming in. Alrighty, so I think I'm gonna go myself, and I am going to finish this hopefully next week since I didn't get to finish it this week, and I hope I can find the stuff I want to finish adding. So this is all I need. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for everybody that watched my live or stopped in my video, and I will see you soon. Bye.